Hi, welcome back. So today I'm going to clean out the sunny patch. Sunny patch is not so bad actually because it's an older patch, so the weed pressure is not so bad and it'll be a lot shorter. I'm gonna stick you down over right here and I'll probably just go through it quickly. I've decided on something. So we're up by the Atlantic giant pumpkin and the cherry trees. And these are the pine berries. I'm going to dig them up and put them down in the brassica bed that's beside the rhubarb because I'm not going to put brassicas there and I want to get a good patch of these growing. If I add a good patch elsewhere, then experimenting with putting them out among the trees fine enough. But I want to get a good patch growing so that at least I can know what pine berries are like. I have two big ones. This one's already rooted. That'll be plenty to get me a full bed on the go next year. Let's lay them out. I put that one there like that. This one can go over there. And that one there. in contact with the soil and they'll root. And I'll take this one and put it right here. Like I said, the coal crops brassicas, I won't have them here next year. What I could do, see, just put down there and leave a little opening where the leaves are. Now I'll water them. I'll get another container full and put on there just to make sure. Now that I've cleaned up, we can take a walk around. This tomato plant I mentioned when I came back from my trip, and I've picked several tomatoes, ripened tomatoes off of this vine. There are several more that are still not ripe, and as I said, I wasn't expecting it to grow. It's just sitting on the ground here in this milk crate. So next year I am going to have several, especially cherry tomatoes. I might try some of the bigger ones as well to put out in the garden in pots. I'll have them partially grown, and when, say, the second week of July, maybe the first week of July, depending on the temperatures, I'll put them out in the garden and see what they do for July and August. The strawberries, they're on their fall flush now, and I'm getting ripe strawberries. I believe it was two I noticed that were ripe here this morning. And there's the other patch. This is early morning, so you get my shadow in some of the video. The mustard seeds are developing nicely. Wait for them to dry. In among there is the Jacob's cattle. They're easier seen out here in the bed next to it. And they have quite a few beans growing on each one. My understanding is I have to wait now for this pod to dry. So that'll be a while yet. The carrots, there's still nothing to them, see? I am not going to get much in the way of carrots this year. This is the Fort Oak Giant. A Swiss chard. They can put out some huge leaves. And this one has grown up and gone to seed. I don't know if I'll get seed. It is, after all, 1st of September now. I'm videoing this. We'll see. According to the tops, the parsnip seems to be doing well. The head of the parsnip is a ways down there. They're harvested in October, I believe. Maybe the middle of October. The rutabagas are coming along. You can see they're enlarging. They're not big yet, but I'll get nervous. Now, speaking of this, the local weather office has registered 37 millimeters of rain over the past month. That's all the water that this garden has gotten. The reason it's staying alive is because of the mulch. I got back and my pump wasn't working, so I couldn't water it when I got back. The American purple top is not doing as well as the Thompson Laurentian that is the traditional rutabaga around here. Now in this bed, once again, you've seen the carrot I showed you over there. This bed has much more surface organic mulch plus more mulch on top, and the carrots seem to be growing much nicer. I have a volunteer rutabaga, several very large ones in this bed. Let's go over here by the thermometer housing. This is the rutabaga seed, and as you can see, it's drying down. I have to be careful now because I can touch them and they can explode and I got seeds spilt. This is the greenest one. You got green up to here. On some of the other ones, it's dried way down the stalk. So these are ready to be harvested now. I'll harvest them maybe today, maybe tomorrow. The cabbage moth finally came by and decided to do a number on the turnip and rutabaga, worse on the turnip. But most of these are going to come out now today. I've taken out a few more there already. Here's our carrot flowers to go to seed. This one here has already been pollinated, I think, and it's starting to turn back in again. And the beet seed. The beets are starting to turn back green again now that the temperature is starting to cool down a bit. There are some there that are enlarging, so we'll see in time what the harvest will be. Interestingly enough, you see this one? Okay, so we've got a carrot plant here growing up to seed. Now the flowers haven't opened yet, so whether or not it will go all the way to mature seed, I don't know. It is getting late now. And I have 1, 2, 3 more over here. This is the soldier beans, and while they didn't do as good as the Jacob's cattle, I'm kind of pleased with it for now. Further down here, I think there's some plants with a bunch of beans on. So they're a goal to be planted again next year. This. Okay, there's one plant. Remember that. Here's another one. And another one. So that's 3 in this bed. I have to collect seeds from that. We go back past the beets. Here's how the cole crops were growing out in the full sunny area. Alright, but not as good as the ones that got the shade. I have to give some more water. The pineberry plants that I moved, they're droopy, but they're still alive. I'm going to give them some more water in just a few minutes. Kale. This is an onion that I missed last year. I can collect seed from that and see what I get. A rhubarb patch. I think I should harvest quite a bit of that now. The potatoes are starting to fade, which means I can get some new potatoes whenever I want. And here's the two where the compost bin used to be. And speaking of that plant, this is the first one I noticed. Right here. Now, this is Amaranthus reflexus. It's an amaranth. If you go to seed suppliers and buy amaranth, they're all developed for the warm season areas, the same areas that can grow wheat and the like. However, there is a amaranth that grows as a weed here in Newfoundland. It's known as pigweed. Red-rooted amaranth is what it is. And so, what I want to do is take the seeds from these, and in one of these beds, spread them over one of these beds next year, the amaranth seeds, and in the other bed, you can see those seed heads there, and here, that's lamb's quarters. So I want to grow amaranth in one bed and lamb's quarters in the other, and see what kind of domesticated plant I can develop out of those. Especially with amaranth. Amaranth is a seed source, so we'd have a source of grains that we can grow here in Newfoundland if I can get this one to grow as big as the regular amaranth that you buy as seed. And all the rest of this, these are kohlrabi. They're growing nicely. The lettuce, head lettuce that is, one's gone up to flower. That's the radishes that were not ready to be harvested, and while I was gone, of course, they become ready and then they went to seed. I'll just leave that. I finally got rid of this pile of bedding and hens manure that I took out of the hens pen in the spring, and I put it in the compost bin. See, I didn't show you this when I showed you the trees. This is the last Myrobalan cherry plum. Really beautiful sunflower that was really an accidental that I got in with the sea berry, and it decided to grow up here. Grew perfect. That's Black Hawk sunflower. And so I have it all mowed around here now, the grass. When I weed from the sunny plot, I usually just throw the weeds out here on the grass, and I run them over with the lawnmower. And while I was mowing this, it was the grass had grown up long. It was a full month of not being mowed, right? This raised bed, inside this is just branches and old wood and kelp and grass clippings. I filled this up. This will be the 4th time. So this was about halfway down when I put the meadow clippings in it this time. And so what you have here is a raised hugelkultur / hotbed / compost bin, whatever you want to call it. If I level this out in the spring and maybe put a little bit of soil on top to make a planting, actually seed setting medium, then the plant should go really well. So I'm going to try that next spring. Now you might remember there was a frame over this bed, so one last thing left to show you, and that is here. This is the baby pan pumpkins. I've got them put over. You see I have one growing there. I have another one growing in there. I think I pollinated a third female flower. Here's the base of one plant, and when you come around this side, there's the base of the other plant. So this frame just barely fits over them. When I put the plastic over, I will put it out and weigh it down out about here so that these leaves are not touching the plastic. And in about another week, I will have to have plastic over this, because the nights will then be getting quite cool. But I should be able to, in this way, get fully ripened, at least 2 there now, baby pan pumpkins. And so there we are, sunny patch all cleaned up. I hope you enjoyed that little tour, and I'll see you in the next video.